Stream is rolling, and it says that we are in fact live. Hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Hour show. I'm Rich Davie, and it's Sunday, September 21st, 2014. And on today's show, we'll be discussing the UFC Fight Night 52 Hunt versus Nelson event, and we'll review our fight predictions as well. And more than likely, we'll do a final thoughts segment as well if we have enough time at the end of the show. On today's show, we have yours truly, Damon Gazelle, and Fred Kirby. Thanks for taking part in another show, guys. I appreciate you all taking the time to be here and joining me to discuss the UFC Fight Night 52 Hunt versus Nelson event, and for taking the time to review our fight predictions. Go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, guys.
Thanks for having me, Rich. Good to see you again, Fred. Anybody watching?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Rich, Damon. Good to be back.
Okay, guys, again, thank you for being here. All right, I just want to start the show off with a brief statement here. On the last show that we did, things kind of got a little heated over the Felice Herod Panty Party topic that we did in the Final Thoughts segment. And I just want it to be known that all guests that appear on the show are voicing their opinions on the topics that we discuss. And those opinions are solely the opinions of the guests that appear on the show and not the show's opinions. So just keep that in mind when you're listening to the show. Okay, moving on from that, let's go ahead and get started with the show here. The UFC Fight Night 52 Hunt versus Nelson event took place Saturday, September 20th, 2014 at the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan, and aired on the UFC Fight Pass network starting at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that was with the prelims, and then the main card got underway at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll quickly mention our prediction results here right off the top from the last show that we did here. And Rich Davie went 4 wins and 2 losses. Brandon Gazelle went 3 wins, 3 losses. And Fred Kirby went 2 wins and 4 losses. But with the point system we have, in first place, Rich Davie 4-2 with 31 points out of 60. Fred Kirby in second place with 2-4 and 14 points out of 60. And in third place, Brandon Gazelle, he went 3-3 with 12 points out of 60. We'll speak more about that later at the end of the show in the Final Thoughts segment here, but let's go ahead and first speak about the main event. Mark Hunt versus Roy Nelson, the number 6 UFC ranked heavyweight versus number 8 UFC ranked heavyweight. Coming into this matchup here, Mark Hunt was 9 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, and Roy Nelson was 20 wins and 9 losses. Mark Hunt defeated Roy Nelson by KO due to a punch at 3 minutes of round 2. And even though this is Nelson's second loss by KO, Mark Hunt made UFC history by becoming the first fighter in the UFC to knock out Roy Nelson. The other KO loss on Nelson's record is from Andrei Arlovsky back at the Erbutic C Heat event on October 4th in 2008. And that KO was due to a punch, but that was at 3:14 of round 2. Both men clearly had the respect of each other's punching power here because as both men, came out, they were fighting from the outside for much of the first round there. And, that's understandable because these two guys can hit extremely hard here. But in my opinion, that caused both fighters to fall short in reaching their opponent's head when throwing punches. And according to the stats, each man missed about 2/3 of their attempted strikes. I thought Mark Hunt looked much more disciplined and a little more technical in this fight than he typically does in recent past. But both fighters were, in fact, throwing punches with the best of intentions. Roy Nelson had virtually no success in getting takedowns, and that goes to the credit of Mark Hunt. So congrats to the win for Mark Hunt there. Comments on this one, Dana? What did you think about this fight?
Roy Nelson was being predictable, and it ended up costing him. Anytime that you're predictable in your movements, you're setting yourself up to fail. And that's what happened. He kept ducking down, trying to avoid, and Hunt caught him on it and KO'd him. Nelson couldn't get him down. I don't think he really tried too terribly hard. I think he was more trying to keep him off guard, trying to open up his striking. But he became predictable, and Hunt made him pay for it.
Okay, question for you real quickly here. How did you score that first round, buddy? I thought it was a fairly close round. How did you score it?
Yeah, I thought it was fairly close too. I would think maybe 10-9 Roy Nelson. It was just so close.
Yeah. Okay. Fred, real quickly before you give me your opinion on things, how did you score the first round?
It was a toss-up. I could have seen it going either way. I personally probably scored it for Roy at the time. I was also fucking halfway delusional at that point, as it was almost 6:30 in the morning. I think I scored it for Roy, but I knew it was a really close round. I don't think that nobody really did anything too emphatic in that first round. So.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a really close round. It could have gone either way, but I went ahead and scored it 10-9 for Mark Hunt. All right, so Fred, give me your thoughts and opinions on how this one went.
Well, I picked Big Country to win this fight, and I guess what surprised me the most, man, was Hunt's defensive wrestling and grappling. In the second round, I think that Big Country was making a pretty concerned effort to get Hunt down. I think that Big Country's a relatively smart fighter, and I think that he knew that he saw that things were going south with the stand-up battle, and I think he was going to try to get the takedown. I mean, I think he may have even tried to take Hunt's back at some point. I mean, he was doing some shit that we haven't seen him do grappling-wise for a while in a fight. I think he tried. I was surprised and shocked at how good Hunt has got in his grappling. I mean, this is a guy that got submitted by Big Sexy Sean McCorkle in his first UFC fight. And it's amazing how far his grappling's come along. But now Big Country couldn't even really hold him on the ground. And once that happened and it was a pure striking battle, I think that it was just a matter of time. Hunt's more technical and he can take a punch. So.
Yeah, I made some notes during the rounds too there, and we all pretty much agree that first round was fairly close. Could have gone either way. In round two, yeah, you're right. Roy Nelson was able to get the takedown, right off the bat within the first 15 seconds of the round, and yeah, he did take his back. He got the double hooks in, but he was a bit too high on the body, and that allowed Hunt, to get out of that situation. Nelson gave up on that effort, fairly quickly there, and then the action went back to the feet for the next couple of minutes. Both fighters were trying to, set up heavier shots by throwing jabs because, they were both throwing a lot of jabs, not so much those wild haymakers that, they both typically throw. And about 2.5 minutes into the second round, Nelson was looking kind of tired. I don't know if you guys picked up on that or not, but, he was breathing through his mouth pretty heavily. And at the 3-minute mark there, Hunt landed a solid right uppercut, like Damon was saying earlier there, because he was, being so predictable there. And, that just dropped Floyd Nelson, to the canvas face first. And I think a lot of people were extremely surprised to be that. But I think, Hunt was, a bit more patient in this fight, and like Fred mentioned here, he had great takedown defense in this one here, and I think that's actually what won the fight for him, along with that solid uppercut there. Again, congrats to Mark Hunt there. I think he should fight every fight, like this, instead of that, reckless abandon throwing those haymaker punches that he seemed to be growing accustomed to. But Damon, any comments on round two?
Yeah, the takedown that Big Country did get, that was surprising to actually see. I mean, we're not used to that, but he didn't. He got him down, was there for a little bit, and I don't know. I don't think he tried his best. I mean, this guy used to be. He beat Frank Mir back in the day in a grappling contest.
Yeah, I don't think he has much of a keg going on back then, though, did he?
Not as much, no. So I don't think his grappling is as good as it used to be.
And he looked worse. He looked way out of shape in this fight here, because at one point he was actually, toning his down, for Roy Nelson. He was actually toning down a bit and looking a little bit leaner, but in this one here, it just looks like he said hell with the fucking diet and the conditioning.
I mean, we'll see what Dana has to say about that, because Dana is has said stuff about his weight in the past, and he had looked slimmer. So I mean, Dana will probably, if he thinks weight was an issue, he'll probably say something about getting off the barbecue again, Roy.
Yeah, I'm sure DFW will say something. Did you notice when I was mentioning it earlier about how he seemed to be a little bit, gassed early on in the second round there?
He did look gassed. I mean, but that's not the first time I've seen Roy Nelson look gassed. I mean, Mark Hunt, I think, like you were saying, was very patient and looked really good in that. And I think Roy was just moving too much. And for that big of a guy to move that much, he just, seemed gassed.
Yeah. Fred, your comments on the second.
I don't think he was gassed at all, really.
You didn't see him breathing out of his mouth like early on.
Yeah, look at him. I mean, of course he was probably winded a bit, but far as being gassed to the point to where I don't think that he couldn't have still knocked Mark Hunt out. I don't think.
I
guess gassed is the wrong term, but yeah.
Winded would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anything, I think maybe he didn't go crazy on the cardio just because he probably assumed that it's fucking Mark Hunt. We're in Japan. We're just going to stand up and throw them things anyway. So, and I think he got pieced up a little bit, tasted a little bit of power in that first round, and thought, okay, well, fuck this. I'm going to fucking go ahead and shoot on this guy and go ahead and submit him and call it a day. And quite frankly, I think when that didn't really pan out and Hunt got back up, it was just a matter of time, man. Hunt's a better striker than Big Country. Quite frankly, Big Country's not really a great striker. He hits like a Mack truck, and he's got his certain little setups that are good. But in a pure technical striking battle, I think Mark Hunt wins that all day long. So
yeah. I mean, Hunt used to be a kickboxer or whatever.
Oh, yeah. K1, I think he even won the K1 tournament at one point, a long time ago. But
yeah, and Nelson pretty much started out as more of a grappler type fighter, and then found out that he could actually knock guys out and started going towards that and got away from the grappling aspect. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Mark Hunt is definitely the better technical striker.
Yeah. Like I said on the preview show that we did early on, he was a little bit more technical than he was, and then he started getting a little sloppy, which is why I wasn't a big fan of him, as he was coming into the UFC. But in that fight last night, I think it was a better direction for him to go because he wasn't throwing as many haymakers. He was throwing out the jab a lot, trying to set things up instead of just lunging in and throwing those massive fucking shots that he throws.
Let me add something to this real quickly before we move on from this fight. I just like to say that I think that Mark Hunt is a prime example of what a little self-confidence can do for somebody. I mean, there was a point in this guy's career where it felt like he was just phoning it in with these fights. Is there anybody out there that thinks that Sean McCorkle would fucking submit Mark Hunt tomorrow in the first round if they fought? I don't think so. I think that the Hunt now, this Mark Hunt, would steamroll Sean McCorkle. And it's just kind of amazing to see him turn it around so drastically. He's got it all, Hell, he even looked decent against Junior Dos Santos. He lost that fight, but fuck, he made it like the third round, and he looked good. He hasn't, looked like shit for quite a while, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because you mentioned earlier there about how Nelson wasn't really all that successful with the takedown attempts. He was 1 of 6 for the entire 2 rounds. So, and also, say it again.
Good shit from Mark Hunt, man. Good.
Yeah, that was surprising. I thought. I mean, I didn't expect that. I thought Nelson would be, able to actually be successful getting the takedowns.
Hey, me too, Jack. That's what I based my fucking pick on, was him getting that takedown and getting that choke in the second round. But Hunt surprised me, man. His defenses came a long fucking way.
Okay, and I just want to give the people the numbers on what the fight metric stats were on punches here. And again, they've got wacky stats here. Significant strikes and total strikes are the same, but I don't know how you call a fucking jab a significant strike. But in any event, Mark Hunt had 32 out of 91, 35% of his strikes landed, and Roy Nelson had 20 of 60, and that was 33%. So each of the fighters here, they're showing on Fight Metric that all of the fucking punches were significant and hard punches. So kind of odd there. All right, how we did here, Fred went with Nelson by 7-3, no points. Brandon went with Nelson by KO in 1, no points. And I went with Nelson by TKO in 3 with no points, because I was thinking along the lines of Fred there, that it would go to the ground and Nelson would be able to maybe get some ground and pound and get the win there. Okay, any other comments on this one before I wrap it up, fellas?
Yeah, I picked Nelson in the event pool on the website, and so I don't get any points.
Okay. Go ahead, Fred.
That does it for me on this fight.
Okay. And wrapping this one up here, Mark Hunt defeats Roy Nelson by KO due to a punch at 3 minutes of round 2. All right, let's move on to the next one here. That was Takanori Gomi versus Miles Jury, the number 28 ranked lightweight fighter versus the number 9 UFC ranked lightweight. And coming into this one here, Miles Jury was 14-0 with, and Takanori Gomi was 35 wins and 9 losses. Miles Jury came out strong in round 1, man, and within the first minute and a half, he landed a solid right to the jaw of Gomi, dropping him to the canvas. Gomi was hurt badly from that punch, and Miles Jury immediately took advantage of the situation, blasting Gomi with shot after shot. Gomi then was kind of forced to cover up and go into a fetal position. He was just absorbing blow after blow after blow, and basically the ref had no choice but to jump in, calling a halt to the action. And this was the first time that Takanori Gomi suffered a knockout loss in his 16-year career. So hats off to Miles Jury there for making sort of a record there. And Miles Jury defeated Takanori Gomi by TKO due to strikes at 1 minute and 32 seconds of round 1. Damon, your comments on this one?
Jury came out and took care of business. Gomi just hasn't been able to put it together in UFC. Consecutively, really. Jury looked great. Gomi didn't.
Yeah, he looked like a friggin' beast, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Okay, Fred.
I picked him in the event pool.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, we do an event pool on the site where we just do straight picks. So if anybody wants to get in on that action, go over to MMA Chat. Just Google MMA Chat, and the site should come up in the search. Fred, I know that you were picking Gomi by TKO in 1. You went the total opposite way of, the way that things wound up. What did you think of that fight?
Oh, it's so depressing, man. I was so sad to see it go down the way it did, and to see Gomi go out like that. For all the pageantry and the craziness about Pride, I actually loved Pride. And it kind of felt like, in a weird way, Pride died. Like, it was just the last guy from Pride that still had a little name value, still turning around, and it just was kind of sad. Happened in Japan. I really wanted to see Gomi do something kind of special and have a fun performance. I did vote with my heart a little bit. I was hoping he'd come out and just get the big knockout punch in the first round. I knew that Jury was a way more technical striker, way better footwork, better head movement, and he looked fucking phenomenal. He came out and did what I kind of assumed he would, but hoped that he wouldn't, and he looked great. Not much to say about Gomi, man. You really never know what you're going to get with him. He didn't look. It was really, the fight happened too quick to see much of anything, man, as far as his performance went. Fucking bummer.
Yeah, I didn't expect a TKO loss for Gomi, considering that he had no losses by KO or TKO. I thought that Jury would, land some shots, and, things would eventually find it, their way to the ground where, Jury would get a submission there. But, Jury did the right thing, man, taking advantage of that situation and, getting the win by TKO. I mean, he didn't dick around. When he saw Gomi was hurt, he went in and did what he had to do to finish things, man.
Yeah, I agree. I could have totally seen Miles Jury winning a Dominic Cruz-esque fight where he just stayed on the outside and picked Gomi apart. But I sure as shit didn't think he was going to come in and straight just thrash him and you know it wasn't one of those kind of flash knockout deals. Gomi was fucked up, man. Like he was fucking. It was a legit fucking knockout, man. So
Yeah. Yeah, and looking at the numbers here again, we've got, you know, a weird situation with the numbers. I don't know what is up with with Fight Metric here, but again, they're showing significant strikes and total strikes the same. So in this fight, I could believe it a little bit more than the other fight, you know, because like we said there, Miles Jury was like a wild banshee, and everything he was throwing was with bad intentions. I mean, every single punch that he threw. And, you know, he only threw what they're showing here on Fight Metric is 23 strikes, but he landed 10 of the 23, and according to what we're looking here at Fight Metric numbers, Gomi only landed 1 out of 4. So, yeah, man, uh, Miles Jury didn't give Gomi a chance to do anything there when he only landed 1 of 4 strikes. You guys got any more comments on that?
No.
nah, it was sad, man. I guess I mean on the flip side of the depressing part of Gomi, you got Miles Jury who looked fucking fantastic. So now I think he's obviously very interesting in a fucking stacked lightweight division. So I think if there's a silver lining to this fight, you know, Miles Jury will probably get somebody relatively notable. And there's a lot of really fun fights at him, fun fights for him at 155 right now. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at him, he's already beat Michael Johnson, Ramsey Nimjum, who isn't really the best, but Mike Ricci, Diego Sanchez, and now Gomi. I mean, he's doing good against gatekeepers. I mean, he's going to be moving up very, very quickly.
Yeah, and looking at the rankings here, what is that really going to help out Miles Jury? Because again, he was ranked number 9, and Gomi was ranked 28. And
oh yeah, oh yeah. That won't matter. It's still Takanori Gomi in fucking Japan. That'll absolutely help him. I would venture, and he's fucking undefeated. I think that win will hold a lot more water than the significance of Gomi's ranking at lightweight for sure.
okay, so where do you think he goes in the rankings there, real quickly? From number 9, how far up do you think he goes?
Jury was at number 9 before.
Yeah.
I don't got. I need to pull these rankings up because I hate to put him in front of somebody who might be coming off a win. But I would say a win like that should at least bump him up 1 to 2 spots. I mean, 7 or 8 at least, depending on who's in those spots.
Yeah, I'll go up. I'll agree with bumping him up 1. What do you think, David?
Yeah, one spot sounds good. I mean, especially the speed of the ending of the fight. That's always a good thing. Is how quick you can put your opponent away.
Yeah, after we did the rankings on the one of the last shows that we did, where we were talking about how we thought things were going to pan out, a couple of us actually called it right, and that's surprising considering we don't typically agree with the way that the press does the UFC rankings. So, yeah, I don't recall exactly what they were, but man, there was quite a few shakeups in the numbers there.
Yeah, Jim Miller's at 8 right now, so.
Okay. Any more comments on that one, fellas?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. And on that one there, Fred picked Gomi by TKO on 1, 0 points. Brandon went with Gomi by decision, 0 points. I went with Jury by 7-2, and I got 4 points. Damon, how did you go?
I went with Jury on the event pool, which we only pick the fighters. We don't pick how the result of the fight is. So
Yeah, round method and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, so recapping that one there, Miles Jury defeats Takanori Gomi by TKO due to strikes at 1 minute 32 seconds of round 1. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Yoshihiro Akiyama versus Amir Sadollah, the number 86 ranked welterweight versus the number 76 ranked welterweight. Coming at this one, Akiyama was 13 wins, 5 losses. Sadollah was 6 wins and 4 losses. And Yoshihiro Akiyama defeats Amir Sadollah by unanimous decision with the judges' scorecards reading 30-27, 30-27, and 30-27. I don't know, man. Round one to me was not real exciting. Akiyama was on top of Sadollah for the majority of the round, and he was, trying to employ some ground and pound after getting the takedown by tripping Sadollah. But, for the most part, he was, basically struggling effectively, to score on the ground there. But, I did score round one, 10-9 for Akiyama. And how did you guys score round one, and what are your comments on the first round?
Sexy Yama, man. I thought he looked great. The first round wasn't the best. But
yeah, let's just cover round one because I want to cover each round.
They were both pretty much testing each other out. I mean, Sadollah throwing his leg kicks or head kicks and everything else, trying to keep active on that. Yeah. Akiyama got one takedown in the first round. 28 total strikes, 8 significant strikes. I mean, he looked like the better fighter, I thought, in the first round.
Yeah, so obviously you scored that.
Yeah, 10-9.
Fred?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Akiyama looked great. Thank God, too, it gave a little juice to the card.
Let's just cover round one. What did you think of round one?
I'm saying in round one. I thought he looked great. I thought he came out and he hit that big trip, which was fucking fantastic. It got, I think, the Japanese fans kind of riled up a little bit. And Akiyama's kind of known for going crazy or, having a really balls-out aggressive style. And I think in this fight, he wanted to be a bit more methodical. So he got that takedown, and I think he was really just trying to control Amir in that first round, maybe suck a little energy out of his strikes, and just kind of establish a little bit of his grappling game.
Huh.
And I scored a 10-9 for Akiyama all day in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the numbers here, this funny, on this fight here, they've got significant total strikes broken down properly, it looks like. I was starting to think maybe early on in the round there that, a couple of the big shots that Sadollah landed might help him out, but looking at the numbers here, 8 of 15 significant strikes for Akiyama and 9 of 25 for Sadollah. And then the total strikes in round one, Akiyama 28 of 40, and Sadollah was 19 of 35. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it here, it looks like there was a lot more action there, so I guess all those little pity-patter punches on the ground there makes the first round look better than it actually was, but first round didn't impress me in the least there. Let's move on to round two. Okay, round two was a lot more exciting. I mean, Sadollah came out straight away throwing kicks in the second round and landed a kick to Akiyama's left thigh, followed up by a kick to the head, but that didn't seem to faze Akiyama at all. Sadollah was looking pretty good for the first 2 minutes of the second round there. At about that same time there, Akiyama landed a solid punch to Sadollah's face that looked to be square on the jaw, but Brian Stan made a comment during the action there that the shot actually landed on Sadollah's nose and it had appeared to have broken Sadollah's nose. And then shortly after that, Akiyama stunned Sadollah with a stiff jab, followed by a second jab, causing Sadollah to go down to his knees. Sadollah got up quickly, threw a kick, but it was caught by Akiyama, and again, Akiyama landed another shot to the face, dropping him again. Akiyama was looking to finish that, and he looked like a man on a mission in round two, and, that was more, exciting, as far as the action goes there, and I was actually expecting maybe something more like that in round one there, but Amir did a great job of blocking the punches to defend himself. And I don't know, after a great start to the round there by Amir, Akiyama came back and just took control of the action, landed vicious shots that clearly hurt Amir Sadollah. I scored around 10-9 for Akiyama, and I'm sure you guys did as well. But Fred, give me your opinion on round two and the action and how you scored it.
Well, yeah, you're right. I scored a 10-9 for Akiyama. Like I said, I think he had a strategy going into this fight, and after kind of grappling a bit in the first round, I think he was willing to trade a little more. I think that Amir thought that he had a noted advantage in the kickboxing department. And when they came out in the second round, I think that he felt like he needed to really turn it on and land something big to kind of prevent that fucking judo base of Akiyama's getting in trouble. And when Akiyama caught him with that big punch and broke his nose, I think that just from there on in, I think it kind of threw a big shrink in Amir's game plan. So,
Yeah, it was a couple of punches in a row there. It was that solid jab that he threw, and then he hit him with a right also, I believe, right?
Yeah, and then he, like I said, he just really started to pour on the strikes and get really nasty with it after that. So he looked fucking really, he looked like the Akiyama of old a bit more in that second round.
Yeah, Damon, comments on round 2?
Sexy Yama looked good. I mean, the dude, he's 39 and still is pretty beast for fucking that age. I mean, he was, Sadollah did land the more significant strikes and total strikes, but the actual significant strikes were actually better on Akiyama's part.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, his shots were much more solid and did way more damage because wasn't it round 2 where he hit Sadollah a couple times and Sadollah's knees were shaking like, a tree.
Yeah, Sadollah's always got such a weird stance and everything. The guy's kind of hard to watch. I mean, I don't know, he's got a goofy way of moving and stuff. I guess it's the way he sets up his kicks or something. I don't know, he looks really weird with his stance and everything.
How did you score that round? Because I saw some people scoring at 10-8 and some people scoring at 10-9.
I would say 10-9. I don't think Akiyama really did enough to actually warrant a 10-8.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, he did rock him a couple times here, but it wasn't, it wasn't like, he was damn near flash knocking out Amir, but it was a great round, no doubt. I think, that was the most exciting round of the fight there, without a doubt. Any other comments on round 2?
No.
Fred?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go to round 3 there. Round 3 had Akiyama come out as the more aggressive fighter, and he pretty much remained the aggressor through the entire round there. He controlled the pace of the action for the entire round. Akiyama just brutalized Amir Sadollah for the duration of the round there. And when the round was over, Amir Sadollah was beaten so badly that he looked like he was gang mugged. Round 3 was all Akiyama, making round 3 10-9 Akiyama, and I scored. It was easily a 30-27 win for Akiyama. I'm sure you guys probably scored it the same way, but Damon, how did you see round 3 there, and how did you score it?
I scored a 10-9 as well. I didn't really think, to get a 10-8, you have to do pretty much almost what like Gray Maynard did to Frankie Edgar. You got to kind of really rock a guy and knock him down a couple of times at least, and be on him the entire time. 10-8s are so hard and pretty rare to see.
Yeah. And there were no knockdowns in this fight.
Yeah, he had 33 significant strikes, 44 total strikes in the round, compared to Sadollah's 9 significant and 16 total. I mean, looking at the stats alone, you can tell who was the more dominant person in the third round. And Sexy Yama, like I said, man, for 39 years old, that dude is a beast.
Yeah, but I still thought round 2 was much more exciting because I liked that, back and forth action that they had there in round 2. What did you guys think? Did you think round 3 was more exciting because it was total dominance by Akiyama, or did you think round 2 was more exciting because it went back and forth between the two guys for a bit?
I always liked the back and forth.
Brett?
I'll take round 3. I was rooting for Akiyama, so I was all for it. I was enjoying round 3 with Akiyama smelling the blood and really just.
You kind of dig the mugging, huh?
Yeah, I always do. I love the finishes, man, or a good beating. That's what we tune in for. A great back and forth battle is good too, but I like a good old fashioned ass whipping.
And how did you score that round in the fight overall?
10-9, third round for Akiyama. Clean sweep. The first round was him dominating the grappling. The second round was relatively close, but Akiyama definitely pulled ahead towards the end of the round. In the third round, he just, like I said, he slowed blood. I think he was trying to get that finish for that. Amir's tough. I'll give him that, man. He's a tough dude, but he was outmatched. The sex is back.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if you're, you're just jaded on on to the fact that you're a huge Akiyama fan. But again, going back to that first round there, I mean, I just didn't find it all that exciting. And I just want to go ask Damon one more time. Damon, did you think that first round was exciting, or did you?
The takedown, the trip takedown, the judo they showed. I love seeing those kind of takedowns. You don't see them that much, and when you do see one, it's pretty exciting to see a guy just toss another guy to the ground like that.
Yeah, there was only one takedown though, so.
Yeah, I know. But
how exciting could that be?
The type of takedown. I mean, you don't see those that often, so when you do see them, they're pretty exciting to see.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. You guys got any more comments before I wrap that up and cover the picks that we made?
No.
Nope.
Okay, Fred went with Akiyama by TKO in 2. He got 4 points. Brandon went with Akiyama by TKO in 2, 4 points. And I went with Akiyama by decision. I got 10 points. And
oh, that's why you wanted to cover it round by round.
What's that?
I said that's why you wanted to cover it round by round. You got 10 points, so you wanted to make sure covered the shit. I was wondering where you're going. Like,
no, I just thought this fight was interesting. I thought the couple of fights were really good. I thought this was a great fight. It had nothing to do with me scoring 10 points. Although I scored 10 points in a couple of them. So, and I pretty much whooped ass in the predictions on this.
You threw me off on the going round by round on this fight. I'm like, I thought Rich wanted to do a short show.
well, being that there's only 3 of us today, I figured we could spend a little more time actually talking a little more in depth here. But what did you go with, David? I know you picked the same.
I picked Sexyama, but. Like I said, I didn't pick a method, just picked Yoshihiro Akiyama, Sexyama.
Okay, and like I said there when we started out describing this one here, I thought it started out to be a bit of a slow and uninteresting fight in round 1, but it turned out to be quite an interesting, exciting night for Yoshihiro Akiyama and all of his fans there. And Yoshihiro Akiyama, Sexyama as he's known, defeats Amir Sadollah by unanimous decision with the judges' scorecards reading 30-27, 30-27, and 30-27. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Rin Nakai versus Miesha Tate, the number 15 ranked bantamweight fighter versus the number 2 UFC ranked bantamweight fighter. And coming into this one here, Miesha Tate was 14 wins, 5 losses, and Rin Nakai was 16 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. And I don't know how you guys felt watching this one, but I actually felt uncomfortable watching this fight. I mean, to me, it was like watching a big sister beat on her little sister for the entire duration of the fight. And I don't know, I think putting Rin Nakai up against Miesha Tate, the number 2 UFC fighter in the bantamweight division, was just a bit too much for Rin Nakai coming into the UFC there. I mean, even though she was ranked number 15 coming into this fight, that's not UFC rankings we're talking about. And I don't know, it just seemed to me that Tate's height and reach advantage translated into an advantage where the leverage canceled out the strength that Nakai, possesses. I mean, other than that brief point in round 2 where Nakai took Miesha Tate's back there, I thought, she didn't really have much of a chance to, win this fight here. And yeah, she did take the back in round 3 again, but I didn't think that was, as nearly as significant as the, when she took, Tate's back in round 2. I don't know. I think Rin Nakai is going to prove to be too small to fight in the bantamweight division when she's going up the top, against the top 10 women of that division. I scored all 3 rounds for Miesha Tate. And for those listening here, Miesha Tate defeats Rin Nakai by unanimous decision with judges' scorecards reading 29-28, 30-27, 30-27. And she did, in fact, make a bit of a record here by handing Rin Nakai the first loss on her MMA record. Guys, what did you think about that fight, and what do you think about Rin Nakai's size? I don't know, man, and how did you score it?
Yeah, I just I'm with you on it. I thought it was 30-27. Yeah, it just looked odd. I mean, Miesha Tate, I don't think she's that tall.
Well, Rin Nakai's
She
only
looked like
5'1".
Yeah, but Miesha Tate looked like a giant compared to this. And
Didn't she?
yeah, I think that actually makes the taller fighter have somewhat of a disadvantage. Trying to hit somebody so much lower because you're not throwing your strikes how you regularly would be. You're aiming down more and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It just looked, I don't know. I'd hate to say circus, but when you look at the size difference, even when she was on her back, it looked kind of funny.
Yeah, and did you notice this too, Damon? When they were in the clinch, Miesha Tate was employing this pretty, decent strategy where she was, holding, the head and shoulders of Rin Nakai, and her body was way outside, so that when Rin Nakai went to throw knees, she wasn't coming anywhere near close because her legs were so short she couldn't reach her.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of, when you have like a bigger brother that like holds you by the head and you're swinging, you can't even touch him, and it's like it just it looked goofy. I mean, I don't see her really being able to do too well against that tall of opponents. I mean, and she can't drop a weight class from what her management team, I guess, says is she's too thick to actually be able to drop a weight.
Yeah, I'm not so sure all of her build is muscle. Yeah, she's got muscle, and she's a little more muscular than some other women.
I think her body type.
Exactly. It's more that she's a stocky, short individual with big bones, it looks like to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope her next opponent isn't taller than Miesha Tate. Good Lord.
I don't think she should fight another top 10 fighter in that division. I think she needs to fight somebody near the bottom top 15.
Yeah. I mean, she pretty much got outclassed, and it wasn't the best looking fight. I mean, for Tate, I don't want to take anything away from Tate. She looked great, but
yeah, it really wasn't even all that impressive when you consider the dynamic of what was happening there. I mean, she looked good. I'm not taking anything away from Miesha Tate, but when you're looking at the way that the fight went down, I thought she actually would have done more and made it a little bit more of an impressive fight there. I did expect it to go to a decision, but I don't know. I didn't expect it.
Well, like I said, I mean, when your opponent is smaller like that, that kind of gives her a slight disadvantage from not because Tate likes to strike, and when you're trying to strike someone lower, that much lower, I mean that does mess with your stand up when your target is quite a bit lower than what it should normally be.
Yeah. All right, so Fred, there, what do you think about those points and comments that we made? What are your comments on the fight, the differential in the height? How do you think Rin Nakai is going to do in the UFC? And how did you score the fight?
Miesha Tate obviously won clearly, but I'm going to say, honestly, I am taking something away from Miesha Tate. I wasn't very impressed by that performance at all. I mean, Rin Nakai looked completely outmatched. She looked way too small. She looked, her striking looked atrocious. I don't know. I don't think I think they'll probably keep her around because the division's light, but I think that she definitely needs to get a major step down in competition, big time, for sure. If she wants to hang around the UFC, she needs to develop a little more. Obviously, that 16-0 record was a bit padded. So I don't know. Miesha Tate looked okay, but against a clearly outmatched opponent, you would have thought she would have done a little better than that. It seemed like the fight kind of wore on a little bit towards the end, and you would think that Miesha could have turned it down and possibly got a finish at some point. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, man, on all points that you made there. I was just trying to be a little more politically correct and making them.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, I love Miesha Tate. She's a great fighter, but this wasn't a great performance. This isn't the performance that's going to get you a title shot. You know, I think it was clear from after the first round that Rin Nakai was clearly outmatched, and Miesha coming out and kind of not putting on a very impressive performance doesn't speak much for her. So.
Yeah, and also after the first round, did you guys notice that when Rin Nakai went back to the corner, she seemed to have some sort of problem with her foot or ankle? Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah, I did see that. I seen that she kind of she yelled out in pain.
Yeah, she screamed out in pain. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but hey, listen, I don't think that was the issue in this fight. Like I said, maybe she was a bit a bit small for the weight division. But like I said, her striking looked really, really bad. And I'm not trying to shit on her, but her striking looked very, very bad. And I think even if she was 4 inches taller and had 6 more inches of reach, she wouldn't have known what to do with it, and it wouldn't have made her a better striker. So,
yeah, not only that, the striking didn't look good, but I actually thought, her judo was going to, have some sort of effect here, but she couldn't even get a judo throw on her.
Miesha Tate's the better grappler too. That she was just she was the better fighter all around in this fight, man.
Yeah, so I guess the fights that I saw where she was tossing the women, I guess those women were like you were saying, maybe it was just to pad her record and make her look good. Because again, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but over in Japan, they're all about the pump and kind of like circus type atmosphere, building up fighters and things like that. So I don't know. I know the hardcore Pride fans and fans that like fighting over in Japan there aren't going to agree with that. But when you look at what went on in that octagon last night, I mean, really, what can you say? Fred pretty much said it all there.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I mean, Rin Nakai was so fucking bad. I mean, like I said, not to shit on her, but her performance was so bad that it kind of made Miesha Tate seem unimpressive by comparison, just because she wasn't able to get an impressive finish on that, that caliber of talent. Sucks, but it's true.
Yeah. So you agree with both Fred and I there. You think Rin Nakai should actually probably be fighting much lesser opponents in that bantamweight division there. Do you think she should actually fight somebody outside of the top 15, or do you think somebody towards the bottom of the top 15 would suffice for now, or what do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think somebody towards the end of the bottom 15 there, maybe 13, 14. I mean, let's see what she can do. Who knows? Maybe Miesha Tate has just proved to be too much for her, So.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up that division now and see who's at the bottom. Wow. Okay, that might not even work for her. I mean, the bottom 5 of the top 10: Juliana Pena, Jermaine Durandame, Raquel Pennington. That might work for her. Leslie Smith and Holly Holm. So I only see one fighter that might work for her, to see if, because I think the other 4 would actually just destroy her. Who do you think in the bottom 15 there, guys? Any of those names that I mentioned?
I don't know. I mean, that size, I think, is just too much of a disadvantage for him.
Okay. Sounds like we're pretty disinterested in speaking about this one any longer. Any more comments before we move on?
No, not really.
Fred?
Nah, I'm good. It was a blowout.
Okay. All right. Wrapping this one up here. Fred chose Nakai by decision, 0 points. Brandon went with Tate by TKO 2, 4 points. And I went with Tate by decision, 10 points. And I know that Damon made the same picks as me in the event pool, so he also picked Tate to win that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Kyoji Horiguchi versus John De Los Reyes, the number 14 UFC ranked flyweight versus the non-ranked flyweight fighter. Coming into this one here, Horiguchi was 13 wins, 1 loss, and Reyes, or I don't know if it's De Los Reyes, he was 7 wins and 3 losses. And in the end here, Horiguchi defeats John De Los Reyes by TKO due to strikes at 3:48 of round 1. What did you guys think of this one here? I mean, not a whole lot to talk about.
No, Horiguchi looked good. He caught Reyes with that left hook, and that was pretty much it. He had him rocked and was able to finish.
Brett?
Yeah, well, man, this is the one I'm going to actually gloat a little bit about. Finally, I fucking got something right. Good, man. I thought that he was going to do this and figure this shit. He came out and he looked good, man. His hands are fast and accurate. He actually has a lot of power flyweight. He's fucking impressive, man. A lot of people are kind of calling him like comparable to John Dodson, and I could buy that, man. He's got a lot of power in his hand. He's got really quick, accurate punches. So this was a fun fight for as long as it lasted, but I think it's time for Horiguchi to get a nice bump up in competition his next outing. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more comments on this one before we move on?
No, sir.
Okay, wrapping this one up here. Fred went with Horiguchi by KO1. 10 points, brother. Congrats on that.
Thank God.
And Brandon went with Horiguchi by 7-3, 4 points. And I went with Horiguchi by TKO2, 7 points for me, because I very rarely ever pick a first round finish. Okay, and wrapping that one up there. Kyoji Horiguchi defeats John De Los Reyes by TKO due to strikes at 3 minutes 48 seconds of round 1. Okay, and moving on to the last one that we did on the predictions show. Alex Caceres versus Masanori Kanehara, the number 14 UFC ranked bantamweight fighter versus the number 115 ranked bantamweight fighter. And coming this one here, Alex Caceres was 10 wins, 6 losses. And Masanori Kanehara was 23 wins, 11 losses, and 5 draws. This one did not turn out well for Bruce Leroy, and I'm wondering what the reason might be for that. Maybe it was that Alex Caceres underestimated Masanori Kanehara, or maybe the time zone differential might have been a factor. But in any event here, this is a fight that probably hurt his standings as far as being ranked number 14, because Masanori Kanehara defeated Alex Caceres by unanimous decision with the judges' scorecards reading 29-28, 29-28, and 29-28. On this one, guys, here, being that we've got a little time, and I want to cover this one too, round by round here. Damon, give me your opinion on round 1 and how you scored it.
I thought pretty much most of the fight was all can't think of the guy's name. Kanehara.
Yeah.
I thought he controlled the fight. First 2 rounds. Bruce Leroy just did not look good at all.
What do you think the reason for that was? Do you think he underestimated?
I think a lot of people overestimate Alex Caceres. I didn't think he deserved to fight Uriah Faber, in fact.
I was actually shocked that fight took place, and I'm sure we probably all thought that.
Yeah, this fight here pretty much just goes to show that he shouldn't have been fighting Uriah.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, I mean, he was fighting at probably 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. In a new.
Yeah, I mean that does play into it, but I'm sure he was there 10 days.
Listen to me making excuses for the guy.
I'm sure he was there 10 days in advance to acclimate to the time. Most fighters usually are. Bruce Leroy, he likes to use his martial arts, and he was not doing that very well.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take it round by round here. So obviously you scored round 10-9 for Kanehara, right?
Yeah.
Fred, how about you on round one?
Yeah, in round one, I thought that Bruce Leroy looked a little off. Kanehara came out strong and surprised me a bit with his aggression and his accuracy of his strikes. Mostly his aggression, though. He was really aggressive right off the bat, man. And yeah, definitely 10-9 Kanehara first round, for sure.
Okay. And then round two wasn't as brutal on Caceres as the first round was, but again, I scored round two 10-9 for Masanori Kanehara. What did you guys think of round two, Fred?
For me, it was kind of more of the same. I think that I still scored at 10-9 for Kanehara in round two. Caceres still couldn't really do nothing and couldn't. He never really got his strikes together at all. It was a bit odd. He did look like his performance was just off all night, but in the second round, he still looked like he was getting beat to the punch, literally.
Okay. Damon, how did you see round two and how did you score it?
10-9. Kanehara just looked like the better fighter. It looked like the Afro was kind of a target, and he just, I don't know. I mean, Bruce Leroy did not look good in this
Bruce
fight.
Leroy is single-handedly bringing the Afro back.
Oh, I love the Afro. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it just looked like a target for the fighter sometimes. Makes your head look bigger and gives them something bigger to swing at.
Yeah, it was really sad to watch those first two rounds because I love this kid. So I was really kind of heartbroken to see those two rounds go the way they did because, at that point, he had pretty much, been dominated and beaten on those first two rounds there. So, I was thinking in my head, there's no possible way in round three that he's going to be able to come back and do anything in round three. But round three was clearly the best round for Alex Caceres. I mean, but it was just a little too little or a little too late. Had he come out earlier in the fight and fought that same way, maybe that would have changed the tempo of things and, he would have had a better chance at winning there. But I scored round three, 10-9 for Caceres, and overall that makes the fight 29-28 for Masanori Kunihara on my card. Dana, what did you think of round three and how did you score the fight overall?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres would have came out and fought that way the entire fight, the outcome would have been a lot different. He was actually landing more that round, and he looked a lot better. On the stats, I think he had one more significant strike, but they both had a total of 14 total strikes for round three. But I would definitely give Alex Caceres the third round.
Yeah, I didn't even look at the strikes until you just mentioned them now. Yeah. Okay, so what was it in my mind here if it wasn't more strikes, or are these numbers off on the third round here, or what?
What do you mean?
Because when you look at the numbers, it leads you to believe that something else transpired.
I mean, he was just because you're coming forward and throwing strike doesn't mean they're landing. I mean,
No, I'm saying looking at the fight metric numbers here, because that's what you were reciting, correct?
yeah.
Yeah. When you're looking at those kind of numbers there, I mean, what do you think is the reason then? I mean, if these numbers are accurate, then do you think it was the aggression and how?
Yeah, he was pushing the pace. He was pushing the pace in the third round.
Okay, Fred, your comments on round three? How did you score it? And how did you score the fight?
Yeah, the same as you guys. 10-9 for Caceres. It looks like he came out and he finally started to get his rhythm a little bit and find his rhythm a little late in the fight. He was landing the better, harder strikes in that third round. But too little, too late. He was down 2 rounds at that point. He needed a finish. I actually tweeted it going into that 3rd round saying that Bruce Lee needs a finish. He did not get that finish. He looked good in that 3rd round, but he lost the fight.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. Love the kid. Don't know what that's going to do to him in the rankings. As I mentioned earlier, he was ranked number 14. I think this drops him out of the top 15. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it should. It really should.
Yeah. All right. Any more comments, fellas?
I want to talk about the Kikuna versus Sam Cecilia.
Okay. Let me wrap this one up here.
Okay.
As far as the picks go, Fred went with Caceres by TKO in 3-0. Brandon Caceres and sub by in 2, 0 points. I went with Caceres by decision, 0 points. So I know again that Damon picked the same as I did in the event pool, so he probably also went with Caceres.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and wrapping this fight up here, and the predictions that we did there, Masanori Kanehara defeats Alex Caceres by unanimous decision with the judges' scorecards reading 29-28, 29-28, and 29-28. Okay, what was that fight you wanted to speak about real quickly?
Kikuna, Mr. Magoo versus Sam Cecilia.
I didn't see that fight, but go ahead.
It was on the prelims. I mean, it's the guy that goes around with his hands down most of the fight, and it was amazing to see that Sam Cecilia just could not tag this guy up. I mean, you would think with a fighter having their hands down like that all the time, pretty much, I think it was Tony Ferguson that put a pretty bad beat down on him because of that. The last fight, but Sam Cecilia, I mean, he looked horrible against a guy that looked like he didn't put up much of a defense by having his hands down low like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty sad, to be honest, that he didn't.
Yeah, I have no comments because I didn't see that one. So, Fred, do you have any comments on that one?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm a Kikuno fan, so I dig the unique styles. I love to see him come through and get a win. Sam Cecilia's striking sucks. I don't mean to be a fighter basher. I don't claim to have better striking than anybody, but his striking it leaves a lot to be desired. He's got some power, but technically his striking is shit, and he proved it. Homeboy kept his hands at it. He had a stationary target all night and couldn't knock this guy's block off. So, yeah, Kikuno's interesting. He won't go very far, but he's fun to watch fight. And Sam Cecilia should be elsewhere probably at this point.
That's why I call him like the Mr. Magoo. Just the way he moves, and he's got his hands down. And he's moving backwards. His little feet. It looks like his little feet are going real quick. And he's got a unique style. I mean, it looks like I don't know if you've ever seen Remo Williams. It's an old '80s movie, and they had a little Chinese guy in it, and that dude reminds me of that guy too. This style is so weird to watch. I mean, and obviously he's had success. And he was successful in this fight, but it's such a weird looking style.
Okay, let's move on here and talk real quickly. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the Fight Night bonuses here, but Fight of the Night was one of the fights that Fred wanted to speak about there in the prediction show that we did. Kang and Tanaka, they won Fight of the Night, and they each got 50,000 bonus on that. What did you guys think of that one? Did you see it?
Yeah, it was an exciting back and forth match.
Fred?
Yeah, that's probably why I got Fight of the Night. It was one of those, like Damon said. Damon probably loved that fight. It was totally back and forth and great grappling exchanges.
Yeah.
Really
sick, slick grappling exchanges with these two. Really fun fight.
Where did that fall on the undercard? Was that towards the beginning, middle, end?
That was towards the middle of the prelims.
Yeah.
All right, well, congrats to those fellas there, and it was good of Fred to call that one out.
Yeah, it was a really good technical fight. They both have skill.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was good for Fred to call that one out there and as a fight to watch there because he did, in fact, get that one right on the nose there. He didn't call fight of the night, but he said it was a fight that we should probably be watching. All right, and Mark Hunt wins $50,000 performance of the night bonus for his finish of Roy Nelson by KO due to punch at 3 minutes of round 2, and I'm sure a lot of people were shocked by that one. That was probably well deserved. Did you guys think there was another fight on the card that should have won a performance bonus over that?
Over that one?
No, not at all.
Okay, and then initially, as I was doing the results and fight bonuses thread that we post on the site there, it was being reported that Miles Jury won a $50,000 performance of night bonus for his finish of Takanori Gomi due to the TKO of strikes in round 1 there, but shortly after that a correction was made and it was actually Johnny Case winning the other $50,000 performance of the night bonus for his finish of Kazuki Tokudomi by submission due to guillotine at 2:34 of round 2. I did see that fight, and when I was watching it earlier there, I was thinking that Tokudumi there was actually going to win the fight. Did you guys see that one, and what did you think of that one?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of back and forth, I thought. I didn't really see anyone looking too terribly dominant. I thought it was back and forth. And Case got the sub.
Fred, what did you think of that real quick?
Yeah, it was a decent, okay fight. It was rather lackluster until he got that sub, but I think that sub was so good, like fucking Takayama knocked out. He was asleep, Jack. So
yeah.
I think it was an emphatic sub, so it made it fun. And yeah,
that was
when they displayed that, when I could have swore that's the one that didn't they on the when they were doing the results of the fight, didn't they consider that a TKO?
The chokeout that we were just discussing?
Yeah, because I could have sworn that there was a sub and they ruled it a TKO, and I was like, well, what?
No, I went and when I did the results thread there, it was definitely submission due to guillotine at
I'm gonna have to watch that fight again. I could have sworn.
No, he was choked unconscious. I mean, he was fucking out, and he was still, had his arms around Johnny Case.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is when I was watching the fight, when they were doing the winners at the end of the fight, I could have swore that they had Johnny Case winning by TKO, even though he submitted him.
No, I don't recall that. Fred, do you recall that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, because as I recall it, the ref was there watching that, guillotine because it was so deep, and he was, right there on the action, watching what was going on, and you could see, like I said, Tokudumi, he was out unconscious, still holding on, and the ref actually grabbed his arms and realized that he was out. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't I don't know what they call it. I think sometimes they call that a technical submission there because the fighter wasn't actually able to submit and they were actually knocked out.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying that because I remember seeing a sub last night and then the result they considered a TKO or whatever. I was like, what? It's like, I just seen the dude sub the guy. What are you talking about, TKO?
Fred, do you recall anything like that?
No, not at all. I didn't remember seeing that. It was a sub.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it was a sub, but like I said.
Well, I mean, in any other fight, Fred, did you see any other fight that might have happened then?
Just the Hung Yu Lim performance was fun. I mean, he's a beast. So that was the only thing that really stood out on the prelims, other than what we spoke about. Hung Yu Lim looked like an animal, and he should get a big step up in competition this next outing.
I thought Maximo Blanco, even though he looked tired, I mean, he pretty much beat up fucking Hooker. I mean, Hooker looked horrible. I think he
Yeah.
had like 2 cuts on the same eye. But yeah, other than that, I think Maximo Blanco, he looked pretty gassed, but he still kept landing. I mean, he had his range down for his punches. I mean, he just kept landing uppercuts and jabs and stuff. I thought that one, it started off the event and it it pretty much set the tone. Uh, it was a good overall event.
Okay, well, I want to talk about one more fight here. I didn't see this fight either because I missed most of the prelims. But I saw there was a lot of controversy around that one fight there, the Kunimoto versus Walsh bout.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter bitching and complaining that he was clearly robbed. It wasn't just fans, it was professional fighters as well saying it was an outright robbery. So I didn't see that one. Can you guys real briefly fill me in on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a robbery. I mean, uh, Walsh had 2 knockdowns on the guy. I mean, he had 59 significant strikes, 96 total strikes to 36 and 62. I mean, when they announced that Kunimoto actually won, I was like, what? And I was like, it, dude didn't even look like, other than maybe octagon control or something. Uh, but I thought Richard Walsh actually did a lot of damage to Kunimoto and deserved to win.
Yeah, no, when you're looking at those numbers that you just cited there, how could it possibly have been anything other than a Richard Walsh win?
Yeah,
Brad, what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just Damon said it all, man. It was a horrible decision. Kunimoto really did nothing to win that fight whatsoever, but it is what it is. Never leave it in the hands of the judges, man. It was a horrendous decision, but yeah, very very bad decision for sure.
Okay, well, there you have it. I mean, we pretty much touched on every single fight of the event, which is something we rarely do. Well, we really don't have much time to go into the final thoughts that I wanted to do here. But let me just recap the predictions that we did here. Recapping predictions, as I mentioned earlier there, I went 4-2, 31 out of 60. Fred went 2-4, 14 out of 60. And Brandon Gazelle went 3-3 with 12 points out of 60. I'm not going to go and cover them any more than that, but that is how we did in the predictions on the prediction show there. And guys, I normally would ask you at this point in the show here how you would rate the event overall, but I want to get on this too. And since I didn't see the entire card, how did you guys rate the main card on a scale of 1 to 10?
Main card, I'd probably give it 8, at least an 8. This didn't seem like a Fight Pass event. You had Bruce Buffer, you had Ariane Celeste there. It felt more like UFC on Fox, or not necessarily pay-per-view, but seeing Ariane and Buffer both there on a Fight Pass event was really surprising.
Isn't Buffer always there?
No, not always. There's
No.
been a couple over in England and stuff where they've got that one guy that comes out and he's like in a vest and it reminds me of like a British box.
Those are probably Fight Pass events too, though, right?
No, those are Fight Night.
Oh, really?
Those have been Fight Night. Yeah, because Dan Hardy does the commentating.
Huh. Okay, Fred, how did you rate that main card on a scale of 1 to 10?
It was solid. I would give it a 7. I'll be kind of stingy. I mean, it was good. It was a really good card. There was nothing extremely, monumental happening. So it was really good. It was a fun night of fights. Couple good finishes, couple good knockouts. So yeah, a 7.
Yeah, I thought it was really a pretty good main card there. I'm going to go agree with Damon there. I'll agree with both of you. 7 or an 8. It was equally as good as both of you guys are saying there. And again, now we have some new Asian talent that we're looking at here that'll probably move up in the UFC rankings because some of those guys look pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
Yep. for sure.
Okay. All right. I did have a couple other things I wanted to talk about, but I think we're out of time here. So, do you guys want to say anything very briefly here in the final thoughts? Goodbye.
No.
Yes, sir. It was a good event, man. It was a good event. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, it definitely was worth getting Fight Pass again.
So
like
so
I
is
said, I got Fight Pass just to see the Nelson Hunt fight.
this going to be another 7-day free trial for you, or?
No, I didn't. Since I've already done the free trial when it first came out.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it would let me do it. I went ahead and let a couple events lapse. The Bigfoot Silva and Bisbing versus Kung Lee.
Yeah.
And then went ahead and got it for help for Nelson and Hunt. Got the month so I could watch all 3 of those events.
Okay, very cool. All right, guys. We're at the end of the show here, but I do want to say this: we've been covering the Tough 20 shows. Each episode, we're doing a preview and a recap show there. So we're going to do another preview show probably on Tuesday. So if you guys are available for that, we'll try to set things up between us so we can do a preview show before the Tough show actually takes place on Wednesday. You guys down for that or what?
Yeah, if I've got time, I'll definitely do it.
Yep. Same here, man. If I got the time, I'm always down.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks again, guys, for joining me. Good show, man. We ran a little bit longer than we wanted to, but we always do. But you guys are more than welcome to join me again anytime on the show. I appreciate what you guys bring to the show, man. But for now, time to say goodbye, guys. So I will see you next time.
See you later, Rich. See you later, Fred.
All right, Damien Rich. I'll holler at y'all next time.
All righty, guys. Have a good one, man.
Take it easy.